welcome back. In today's video we're going to be talking about the 5 books I read in June. So I read 4 of these books in a reading vlogs, and then one of them was just for fun. So let's just go ahead and just get started. Now, okay, let's start off with the first one, which is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This one is the second book in the Maple Hill series. The first book is Icebreaker, which I did read like last year, and I enjoyed Icebreaker. It just wasn't my favorite. This book, however, was definitely better than Icebreaker, and I just like the story a little more. So these two, Russ and Aurora, they both are camp counselors at this camp. I forget what it's called. I think it's something with like Maple Hills or something. They're just summer camp counselors. Does it not say that? Okay, so they don't have the name of the camp, but they're summer camp counselors, and she basically grew up at the camp, so she knows everyone there. She knows the rules and she knows all that stuff, and basically some of these people will kind of like fight for her to stay. So she knows a lot of people. He doesn't. It's his first time there. He's just doing it just to do a job, just to get some money, and stuff like that. This is a hockey romance, but it doesn't spend a lot of time. It's not actually on the hockey season. You know that he plays hockey, but it doesn't take place during the hockey season, and it doesn't take place during his training or whatever time, which I do think is interesting that during the summer. I don't know why I think it's interesting, but for some reason I really did think college, now I know this is a book, but I really did thought college students, what they did was they would train and practice all summer long. Like, I don't know why I thought that, or kind of you would have like a couple weeks off here and there. I'm guessing that's for football though. Football, and then maybe basketball, and then maybe even hockey. I don't know, I just thought you would get more training in and you have time to practice and just getting to know the team, so that when you do the pre-practice and the pre-stuff, you already know the team. But that's what I thought. Anyway, so these are the camp counselors. I really did, like I said, enjoy this book way more than Icebreaker. I really want to read Daydream, which is the 3rd book, so it is a trilogy. Also, from reading Icebreaker, you don't have to read the books in order. I mean, you do, to like, because you know the people, so you know. Okay, in this book you get a little bit of Nate and I think Anastasia, someone of those. It starts with an A. So you get those, like, you get some of it in here, and you get the kind of like his relationship with, like, or like not relationship, but like you get to see them in this book. So you get to see them and kind of understand a little bit more, but it's not always, but you don't have to read it in order. I, however, did, but that's just me, or I hope to. Like I said, I hope to do Daydream, hope to get Daydream, which again is the last book in the series, and I do hope Hannah Grace does write more books, because they're fast-paced and enjoyable. Okay, so I give this book a 3.5 stars. It was really good, and this book was in, I think, Let's Get in the Summer Mood. Like I said, I'll have that link description below, or if I can figure out how to do the little, like, picture screen thing here, I'll have that. So, like I said, this one was definitely better than Icebreaker, and it's a lot more enjoyable and a lot more kind of like fun and fast-paced. Alright, the next book I read, Cujo by Stephen King. I actually had no idea Cujo was written or created by Stephen King. So that was definitely interesting. So this one I read in reading Stephen King's most scariest books. And honestly, I didn't think this one was that scary. So if you have no idea what Cujo is, this book follows along a dog, a Saint Bernard, who basically gets rabies and just goes on a killing spree. And honestly, what I think about is interesting about Stephen King, because normally when you read a book or when you read an author, you know their writing style, their writing format, their writing, just kind of like how they format their books. What I think is different from Stephen King is all the books that he writes, and they're like in different formats. This one actually has no chapters at all, so if that bugs you, it didn't really bug me. And you can tell, because it isn't a POV, multiple POV, so you can tell which POV you're in, honestly, so it's not that difficult. I did, however, really like Cujo, and honestly, it really was sad in the beginning. I think it's sad that they changed in the movie, but it's really sad. But honestly, it was a really good book, and I definitely did enjoy it. I read the movie, and like I said, so I didn't actually do the review in the movie. I did like the movie. Again, it wasn't that scary at all. I mean, it's just a dog. I mean, I am terrified of dogs, so it was a little scary, but, you know. Okay. This book I gave a 4.75 stars. What I also think is actually really scary about this is that it probably could happen. Like a dog, like St. Bernard is like a really big dog, or it sounds like from here in this book. And it can go on like a killing spree if it just kind of starts singing. But honestly, it went on a killing spree too because it was in pain and because it didn't like the fact that these people were hurting him. But anyway, that was Cujo. I definitely did enjoy it. Okay, the next book I actually read in that video was Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This one was definitely interesting, and I like how it was. Okay, so what I love about Stephen King is how he built up a story. Like, he built it up, and at the time, because what really truly happened, the main goal, or not even the main goal, just the main thing that happened, it happened at the end, like in the last like 20-30% of the book. But what I like about Stephen King is in that first part of the book, he builds up the character and he builds up the story. So you're basically following along. So basically you followed along through Louis Creed and his family moving to this new house. And then you have, I think it's Judd. I think it was Judd. 1 minute. So Judd was his neighbor, like next door, and basically you follow along him getting used to this new house, his daughter getting used to this new house, his daughter just getting used to everything, and then you basically follow, and then you also have Judd, who basically just has lived there for a while. He's like really old. He's like 80 something years old. And he basically, you get to learn about stuff with him. But like I said, I like how you follow Louis's Creed life, and you follow the Creed's life, and you follow what happened, and you kind of basically connect to the characters, and you just get so, like I said, connected. So when something does happen, when the big thing that did happen, it was definitely sad, and you basically felt really sad and bad, and just kind of, it felt sad. I do have to say, the thing that happened, I don't know why I thought he would go to detail, but he really didn't. You saw what happened, you knew, like, what happened, you kind of knew the lead up, but you didn't, it wasn't like he wrote the entire thing. He didn't write the experience, like, he wrote the experience, but he didn't. I don't know how to describe it. Like, at the time, you see flashbacks and what they could have done to prevent what happened, but you don't see the actual event in the then time, if that makes any sense whatsoever. What's also interesting about this and cool is you get a little bit of Cujo in here. So this book was not really that scary. I mean, honestly, yes, bringing back people to life, but again, it really wasn't that scary, and I really didn't get that scared and terrified over it. So that was, yeah, I didn't get that scared over it. And honestly, yeah, I don't understand how it's scary. Plus, I did watch the remake one. So, I haven't watched the original one, but I watched the remake of it with my dad. And I kind of fell asleep during that one, which I also have no idea how the remake and this one correlate at all. And I had no idea. Because when I watched the first couple of it, it made, like, it showed you the ritual of it, but it didn't show you, or like it didn't really show you anything. And I don't know, I was kind of confused in that one. So this definitely did make a lot of sense. And again, Stephen King is an amazing writer. And honestly, really truly thinking about almost all of Stephen King's books. Like, this one is a classic. Cujo is a classic. Carrie's a classic. It's a classic. Like, it is crazy that Stephen King has written so many books that not only have gone adapted into movies, but everyone, like, you know of it. You know who Stephen King is. You know of some of his work that he's done, which I think is just so interesting. But I read Pet Sematary, and I gave this one a 4.5 stars. So it wasn't, okay. Out of this entire video, Cujo was my favorite book because it really was scary. And honestly, I really did enjoy it. And it really was something to where, like I said, I'm terrified of dogs, so reading a book about a killer dog I didn't like that. But we have, so like I said, we have Pet Sematary, a really good book, kind of like my second favorite. It didn't really scare me that much, But then we moved on to the last book in the video, which was Carrie. Carrie, so this follows the girl who basically, her mom is super religious, and she gets made fun of because, again, which I feel so bad for Carrie, honestly, because not only is she getting bullied in school, but she cannot go home and not get bullied. Like, her mom's bullying her, just like, it's really sad. But she has a telekinesis, and what I really like about this book was, you know what telekinesis is. Like, in so many movies, so many books, all this stuff, like, has telekinesis in it, but in this one, you actually gonna learn how people get telekinesis, and I really like that. Like, I really like what genes, like, come together to, like, create a telekinesis. And I don't even know if this is true or, like, what happens in real life, if that can happen in real life, but I just thought that was really great because you normally hear, like, so how did this person, because I mean, in Stranger Things, it was always the biggest question for me, was how did these people get, because, okay, it makes sense with the other kids, but how did Henry get telekinesis? So it kind of makes a little more sense. And plus, I do think a lot of stuff, I mean, I have a lot of questions, but, you know, I like that about this book, but I really did feel bad for Carrie. And honestly, there was a lot of blood talk in here, so if you didn't like blood, or if you don't like blood, or the mention of blood just, like, makes you faint, I don't know if I'd recommend reading this. Plus, if you have no idea what the book is about, I mean, stuff happens. But I really did say, it really was sad, and finally, also, it was really cool, because honestly, finally getting to read Carrie was great. I haven't even watched the movie yet, but I was really excited to be able to get to read Carrie. And honestly, this one isn't my favorite of the Stephen King books. Like, these books, so honestly, I will do my ranking in this video as well of my favorite Stephen King books. So I have read The Shining, Dr. Sleep, Cujo, Pet Sematary, and Carrie. And all those have actually been in a video. So the video that I did for The Shining and Dr. Sleep is, I think, reading my first Stephen King books, which I'll have linked in the description below. But I'll tell you guys, like, my favorite, like, books. Now, my favorite movie is different from the book because I have not read the book yet. So it's it. And if the entire time, like, probably throughout even the first one, I was talking about how I love it, but I'm just so scared to read it. I'm scared to read it because I just don't know, because I love it so much, and I just don't know if the movie or the book is gonna be, if I'm gonna love the book as much as I love the movie, you know? So I'm a little scared to read that. But I love it as a movie. Like, it is my favorite movie of all time. Like, my favorite horror movie, my favorite, like, thing that Stephen King has ever, like, created. But I would say book-wise, I would say Dr. Sleep at the top, because Dr. Sleep was one of those nice ones to where so in The Shining, you learned that there is The Shining, but in The Shining, you kind of just think it's, oh, you can see ghosts and you can see the other world and you can interact with them. But in the Dr. Sleep, you realize that it actually is like a power, and some of them have a little low power and some of them have really high power. So I really like that aspect of it. Then I would go The Shining. I really love The Shining. That one was so good. And that one is actually Stephen King's most scariest book. And I kind of see why, because you feel like you are in the Overlook Hotel with them, that you truly are going along with the people in the book and stuff. Then I would go Cujo. Cujo was really good. Cujo was a little scary. Like I said, again, I'm terrified of dogs, so having a dog and having a killer dog, that was definitely something that was really scary. Then I'll put Pet Sematary, because that one was, again, another interesting story. And I think it was just kind of a nice, fun, you felt like you were going along with a family and you felt like you were there with the family. And then I would say Carrie. Carrie would be my least favorite book I've read, just because it is really tiny. I mean, I gave Carrie a 4 stars. So I really did like it. It just wasn't my favorite of Stephen King's. And it was also just kind of like one of those, I don't know, I felt really bad. I mean, you feel really bad for Carrie, and it's just like my least favorite. It's not the one that I enjoy from Stephen King. Plus, also, Carrie is one of the ones I had no idea was written by Stephen King. So many of these, like, classic horror stories, horror stuff, like, I had no idea it was written by Stephen King. But Stephen King has a lot of work. And what I think is so crazy is how Stephen King is coming out with more books, which is really sad, because I just bought Never Flinch, which I thought was just like its own standalone just book. It's part of the Mr. Mercedes series. because he recently came out with Holly, which is another character in Mr. Mercedes, and I didn't get that one because I wanted to get Mr. Mercedes and read that. Like, silly, I think it's like a trilogy, and then you have then the Holly, and then you have like those kind of like off, like they're the same part of the series, it's just different time. I don't know, but it sucks. So now I have to listen to or read Mr. Mercedes. But anyway, those are my tiers for all the Stephen King books I read. Like I said, I really did feel bad for Carrie. Also, honestly, yeah, also, by the way, I didn't even mention this, but in Pet Sematary, I do have to say, Rachel, who is Louis Creed's wife, bugged me so much. And I mean, so I understand what happened to your sister. Really sad. That's really, really sad. But your daughter can clearly tell, and I've said the same thing in the reading blog, but I didn't do it as great. But your daughter can tell that your daughter has questions, and your daughter, like, experienced it for the first time, and you can't really shield, like, especially because your daughter's going to kindergarten, and, like, starting to go to school, you can't shield your daughter away from that, because she's gonna be coming home, and people are going to be going, like, they're going to be asking, oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I went to my grandpa's funeral. Oh, my grandpa died over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's going to be hearing that stuff. And I don't think you should shield her. So, and she clearly knows you can't go to her. So you getting mad over your husband on the fact that he was honest and told her in an age-appropriate way what death was something that I liked, because again, you can't shield her from that. And it's something that is a question, and it's something that I think, I don't know, I just thought that was kind of bad. And Rachel was just kind of infuriating, honestly. I don't know, she was so annoying, and I honestly know where she gets it from. Her parents were super annoying. Her parents were, but Rachel was definitely annoying on that part. And again, it's sad what happened, but please, come on, your daughter, just stop shielding your daughter away from it. Like, I mean, you really want your daughter to be made fun of? I don't know what death is. Imagine. I'm sorry, I know this is so mean, but imagine your daughter, Rachel, being in like 8th grade or middle school or high school, and they start talking about death and go, what is death? I mean, come on. She's gonna get so made fun of. I mean, I can just think of the kids in my class just laughing at a question like that, because it's a stupid question. What is death? You should know what it is. Anyway, so that was my thought in Pet Sematary that I forgot to say when I was talking about it. But like I said, I gave Carrie a 4 stars. I enjoyed it. Wasn't my favorite. Then the last book I read, which was in no video, but was a sequel to a book I read last month. So if you want to see my reaction to The Perfect Marriage, I'll link last month's reading wrap up down in the description below. But I read The Perfect Divorce by Genevieve Rose. Honestly, Genevieve Rose is becoming one of my favorite, like, auto-buy authors. Her 2 books I've read by her were so amazing. And what I really liked about this book, and what I thought was so interesting about, like, The Perfect Marriage, was the fact that you followed and you were in the POV of a lawyer, and you kind of, like, I've never been in a POV of a lawyer, and just kind of, like, figuring out a case. Honestly, I do have a lot of questions for lawyers, and I think I said that in it, but so Sarah Morgan, who is the main character in The Perfect Marriage, who basically just takes on her husband's case, Adam Morgan, because he was involved in some sort of case. She took it on, and then what happened? Normally, like, Sarah in that book I like Sarah. I hated Sarah in this one. Honestly, she really is one of those evil people that really needs to be put down. Also, I mean, come on, isn't it not just fine how she covered it up? Was so great, was really kind of like, not like, was really smart. But honestly, also, okay, 2 things. Something happened in here, and you knew who did it, but you didn't really, like, you got that closure, but I feel like it was just such a loose end, and I feel like there was one part in this book that really was not needed. But other than that, okay, so that's that. But Sarah really is annoying. And also, can't the police just kind of see the pattern here? Because fine, yes, all the evidence led to this one dude, but seriously, can't they just see a pattern in the fact that all of Sarah's husbands, something has happened, or like they get involved in something? Like, it is ridiculous. So, like, can you not see that? But I did like the actual police investigation, and I love the fact that you get so many POVs in this. You get because I think you got some of the sheriff's POV in the last one, but you get the sheriff's in this one. And also, plus, I read this book, honestly, in one sitting. Or not one sitting, but I read it in like one day. I loved it so much. So, sorry, I have like something in my eye. My eye itches. Okay. So this book I gave a 4.75 stars. I love this book, and I think I give that the same rating as the second book, or the first book. So again, Genevieve Rose is one of the books, or one of the authors I'll probably continue on reading and buying her books. I do have, I think, Home is Where the Bodies Are by her. And then there's another book I really, really want to read by her. There's actually a couple books I want to read by her, but she is definitely one of my favorite authors, and I will probably continue on reading her thrillers. And also I love like these special editions. The first one was a really cool special edition, but come on. Oh, I think I flipped this. I flipped this, so no wonder why. Okay. I was like, that didn't make sense. But anyway, I really love these special editions. So, alright. So, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I just want to I might forget to do this in a couple of my reading vlogs, but I feel like because I had, like I said, 4 books in this video that were in reading vlogs, I just feel like it's kind of repetitive because you're getting the same exact kind of review and you're getting the same rating. So what I feel like I'm gonna do is, in reading vlogs, you're still gonna get my review, my reaction while I read them, but I feel like I am not going to do what my rating was. So you'll have to stick around till the end of the month to find out what my rating was and when I gave that book. So, but you'll kind of know if I liked it or not, and maybe you can like put 2 and 2 together. And maybe you guys can make predictions in the comments below, like what I'll give reading vlog, like what I'll like give the book. That sounded so stupid. Anyway, but that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a good night, and wherever you are, and goodbye.